What if one element in your home could completely change the way your entire interior feels? Not the sofa, not the TV wall, not even the ceiling, but the staircase. A staircase can be purely functional, or it can become the architectural centerpiece of your home. And if you've ever walked into a luxury home and immediately noticed a dramatic floating staircase, a sculptural spiral staircase, or a beautifully lit marble staircase, you already know exactly what I mean. But here's the interesting part. A staircase that looks incredible in a photograph isn't necessarily a well-designed staircase. Its proportions, structure, materials, lighting, railing, safety and relationship with the rest of the home all matter. So today, we're going to explore some of the most beautiful luxury staircase design ideas and, more importantly, the expert details you should know before choosing one. Let's start with one of the most dramatic options, the floating staircase. The name itself tells you why it is so visually striking. The individual steps appear to float without the heavy visual structure we normally associate with a staircase. The result is clean, architectural and incredibly contemporary. But here's the part you don't see in the photograph. A floating staircase requires careful structural planning. The steps cannot simply be attached to a wall because they look minimal. The supporting structure, anchoring and load requirements have to be properly engineered. So if you're dreaming of a floating staircase, think of it as architecture first and decoration second. Now imagine those floating steps finished in beautiful natural wood. Suddenly, the staircase becomes warmer and more inviting. Walnut, oak and teak can all work beautifully depending on the interior palette. Wood is particularly effective when you want a staircase that feels luxurious without feeling cold. Pair it with a minimal glass railing and warm lighting, and you get a very sophisticated contemporary look. But here's a designer trick. Don't automatically match the staircase to every other wooden element in the house. Sometimes a subtle variation in wood tone creates much more depth than making everything exactly the same. And if you want something more dramatic, marble is one of the first materials that comes to mind. A full marble staircase can create an instant sense of luxury because of its natural veining, texture and visual weight. White marble can create a bright, timeless appearance, while darker stones can create a more dramatic and sophisticated atmosphere. But here's where you need to be careful. More marble doesn't automatically mean more luxury. If the entire staircase, walls, floor and railing are competing for attention, the result can become visually overwhelming. Sometimes one beautifully veined stone paired with restrained walls and warm lighting is far more luxurious. And then there is the question of the marble finish. Polished marble reflects light and creates a glamorous appearance, while honed or matte finishes feel softer and more contemporary. But remember, staircases are high-traffic surfaces, so slip resistance, maintenance and the specific suitability of the finish should always be considered. A staircase needs to look beautiful, but it also needs to be safe to use every day. Now let's talk about one of the most popular combinations in contemporary homes: wood, glass and metal. Imagine warm timber steps, a slim black railing and transparent glass panels. You get warmth, contrast and openness in one composition. Glass railings are especially useful when you don't want the staircase to visually block the room. They allow light to pass through and can make a compact space feel more open. But glass isn't completely maintenance-free. Fingerprints, dust and watermarks can become visible, so think about your lifestyle before choosing it. If you prefer something more classic, a staircase with a substantial wooden handrail and beautifully detailed balusters can create a completely different atmosphere. Traditional staircases can feature turned wood, metalwork, decorative panels or crafted details. And if your home has a classic architectural language, trying to force an ultra-minimal floating staircase into the space may actually make the interior feel disconnected. The staircase should belong to the architecture rather than simply follow a trend. For contemporary luxury homes, cantilevered stairs are another fascinating option. The steps project from a supporting wall or concealed structure, creating a visually light appearance. But again, what looks simple often requires complex engineering behind the scenes. This is one of those design situations where the less structure you see, the more important the hidden structure becomes. Now let's talk about spiral staircases. A spiral staircase can be an incredible architectural feature and is particularly useful where floor space is limited. It can connect levels while occupying a relatively compact footprint. But don't choose a spiral staircase purely because it looks beautiful. Think about how often it will be used, how furniture will be transported between floors, the width of the steps and the comfort and safety of everyday movement. A sculptural staircase is wonderful, but functionality still comes first. And what about curved staircases? If you want something truly luxurious, a sweeping curved staircase can create a spectacular entrance. Unlike a straight staircase, a curved staircase can feel more sculptural and fluid. Imagine a wide curved staircase with a stone finish, a sculptural handrail and a statement chandelier above it. Suddenly, the staircase isn't just connecting two floors, it becomes the focal point of the entire foyer. But here's something important. The staircase and the ceiling should be designed together. If your staircase sits beneath a double-height ceiling, you have an incredible opportunity to create a dramatic vertical composition. A chandelier, pendant installation or sculptural light can visually connect the staircase to the upper volume. If the ceiling is lower, however, you may want to keep the staircase visually lighter and avoid making the area feel crowded. Lighting can completely transform a staircase, and this is one area where small details make a huge difference. Step lights can create a beautiful glow along the staircase at night. LED strips can be integrated underneath floating treads. Wall washers can highlight stone or textured walls. And concealed lighting along the handrail can create an extremely refined effect. But here's the secret: don't make every light visible. In luxury interiors, the light source is often less important than the light itself. You want to notice the atmosphere, not necessarily the fixture creating it. Now let's talk about the railing because it can completely change the personality of a staircase. Glass railings create openness and minimalism. Slim black metal railings feel contemporary and architectural. Brass can add warmth and glamour. Wood creates a softer and more traditional feeling. And a sculptural railing can become an artwork in itself. But the railing should also be comfortable to hold and designed according to applicable safety requirements. Beauty should never compromise usability. One of the most beautiful combinations is a natural wood handrail with a transparent glass balustrade. The wood gives you warmth where your hand actually interacts with the staircase, while the glass keeps the overall structure visually light. It's one of those combinations that can work in both contemporary and transitional interiors. Another detail to think about is the staircase wall. Don't leave this surface as an afterthought. You could use natural stone, textured plaster, wood paneling, artwork, vertical slats or even a gallery wall. A staircase naturally creates a vertical movement through the home, so it is a perfect location for artwork or architectural lighting. And here's another idea that can completely change a staircase: storage underneath. In a compact home, the area beneath the staircase can become valuable storage. You could create concealed cabinetry, drawers, a reading nook, a bar area, a small workspace or even a display zone. But if you're aiming for a luxury minimalist look, concealed storage is usually more effective than filling the entire area with visible cabinets. Now let's talk about staircase proportions, because this is where design becomes technical. The height of each step, the depth of the tread, the overall width, the number of steps and the relationship between riser and tread all affect how comfortable the staircase feels. A beautiful staircase that is uncomfortable to climb is not good design. Exact dimensional requirements should be checked against your local building regulations and project-specific structural design rather than copied from an online design. The width matters too. A narrow staircase can feel cramped, particularly in a large luxury home. A generous staircase creates a sense of openness and allows two people to pass more comfortably. But increasing the width also affects the structural and spatial planning, so it should be decided early in the design process. Now imagine walking into a home where the staircase begins right at the entrance. This is where the staircase becomes part of the first impression. You could use a sculptural chandelier above it, a dramatic stone wall behind it, or a large piece of artwork following the stairs' vertical movement. The entrance, staircase and ceiling can be designed as one composition rather than three separate elements. For a warm luxury aesthetic, consider combining timber steps, natural stone, soft beige walls and warm brass lighting. For a more contemporary look, think of concrete or microcement-inspired finishes, dark metal, glass and minimalist lighting. For classic luxury, marble, timber, brass and decorative detailing can create a timeless atmosphere. The material combination should reflect the personality of the home. And here's something that can make an enormous difference: the color of the risers. Keeping the tread and riser in the same material can create a monolithic appearance. Using contrasting risers can make each step more visually defined. A dark tread with a lighter riser can create contrast, while matching everything creates a more seamless architectural effect. You can also use carpet runners if you want a softer, more traditional aesthetic. A beautifully proportioned runner can introduce pattern, color and texture while also making the staircase feel warmer. But again, installation, maintenance and secure fixing are important because staircases are areas where slipping and tripping need to be taken seriously. Now let's discuss some common staircase mistakes. The first is choosing the design too late. By the time the staircase is treated as a finishing element, many structural decisions have already been made. The second is focusing only on the appearance and ignoring comfort. The third is using too many materials. Marble, wood, brass, glass, patterned tile and decorative metalwork may all look beautiful individually, but combining everything can make the staircase feel chaotic. The fourth is poor lighting. A staircase needs adequate illumination, particularly at night. And the fifth is ignoring the relationship between the staircase and the rest of the home. Before we wrap up, if you enjoyed this video and found these staircase ideas helpful, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who is designing or renovating their home, and subscribe to Everyday Interiors TV for more interior design inspiration, expert advice, luxury home ideas and practical design tips. And of course, tell us in the comments, which staircase would you choose for your dream home? A dramatic marble staircase, a warm wooden floating staircase, a curved statement staircase, or a modern glass and wood design? Your answer might even inspire our next video. So keep exploring, keep designing, and keep finding those little details that make a home feel truly special. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, right here on Everyday Interiors TV. Home Sparkles.